Well, survivors, we've finally got another update on Genesis Ascended Part 1, and if you've been wondering whether June 25th is still happening, the good news is, according to Studio Wildcard, yes, it absolutely is. Now, before we dive into everything, if you're looking for somewhere to play Genesis Ascended completely free on day 1, make sure you join us over on the LoadedCrysis cluster. We'll be launching Genesis the moment it goes live, and we'll be hosting giveaways for Tides of Fortune keys, and whether you're a solo player, a returning veteran, or bringing your entire tribe, we'd love to have you join us. The Discord link is down below, it's always going to be completely free, come and join us for launch hype. Now, let's talk about Genesis Ascended Part 1. So over the weekend, many ARK fans were expecting to see Genesis Ascended Part 1 at IGN Live. We were told the devs were going to be there to talk about the future of ARK and the upcoming projects. After all, we're only a couple of weeks away from launch, which is, to be exact today, 17 days. Naturally, most of us expected gameplay, a trailer, screenshots, just something. Instead, Jeremy was asked about Genesis during the event, and he gave a response that was both reassuring and slightly concerning at the same time. The reassuring part is that Genesis Ascended Part 1 remains on track for June 25th, the concerning part is they're still not ready to show it. Now, if you followed ARK for any length of time, you will know that this is basically Studio Wildcard in a nutshell. Everything always seems to happen at the very last minute. We've seen it with map launches and DLCs, and we've seen it with creature reveals. Honestly, we've seen it with ARK Survival Ascended itself. Wildcard just have a habit of working right up until the finish line. So whilst June 25th is still officially the target, I think it's fair to say everyone should mentally prepare for the possibility of June 26th if something slips up at the final hurdle. I'm not saying it will, I'm just saying if you've played ARK long enough, you know exactly why people are nervous, and the fact that we're this close to launch and still haven't seen actual Genesis gameplay is definitely something a little bit concerning. But at the same time, Jeremy seemed extremely confident that the update is still arriving, and honestly, after listening to him talk about the project, I think we're starting to understand why it's taking so much work. Because this isn't Genesis just getting a visual upgrade, this sounds like something much bigger. In fact, Jeremy pretty much confirmed what many of us have been suspecting for months. Genesis Ascended Part 1 feels like Atlas 2. Not literally Atlas, but Atlas-style gameplay fully integrated into ARK. Think about what we're getting. On June 25th, Genesis Ascended launches alongside Tides of Fortune. And this isn't just another creature pack, this is introducing an entirely new way to play ARK. Players will be able to command sailing ships, and we're talking giant ships, fight naval battles, search for hidden treasure, explore islands, attack fortresses, build crews, travel across huge stretches of ocean, and carve out their own pirate legend. That doesn't sound like traditional ARK. That sounds like Wildcard are taking everything they learned from Atlas and bringing it into ARK Survival Ascended. And honestly, I think that's exactly what they're doing. One of the biggest reveals is that the Genesis Ocean biome is no longer just another biome. It's effectively becoming a map-sized experience. The ocean itself is becoming the star of the show, and that's where things are getting really exciting, because the technology behind it is completely new. Wildcard are saying they're introducing brand new water physics specifically for this experience, real wave movement, improved systems, ships that actually react to ocean, dynamic maritime gameplay, and systems built from the ground up to support life at the sea. For years, ARK's oceans have become mostly places people visit when they absolutely have to. You grab your resources, tame a few creatures, run an underwater cave, then leave. But Genesis Ascended is trying to make the ocean feel like a genuine place to live, a place to explore, a place to build stories, and potentially a place to wage war. Imagine entire tribes controlling sections of the ocean, Imagine pirate fleets, treasure hunting expeditions, massive sea battles, hidden islands, naval ambushes. This could completely change how ARK is played, especially if the other maps get the same treatment when it comes to the ocean. And honestly, I think that's why a lot of people are excited, because after years of land-focused gameplay, ARK is finally going all in on the sea. And every single pirate story needs its monsters, and that's where the Paleo Octopus comes in. We know launching completely free alongside Genesis Ascended is the community voted Paleo Octopus, and it's ready to turn those peaceful ocean voyages into complete nightmares. Wildcard describes it as a highly intelligent predator that uses the terrain and environmental advantages against its prey. It doesn't simply attack, it hunts, it traps, it controls, and that is terrifying. Because if you're out searching for treasure, sailing between islands, or transporting resources across the ocean, the last thing you want is a giant prehistoric octopus deciding your ship looks like its lunch. The Paleo Octopus already looks like one of the most unique creatures ARK has ever added, and I think it's going to become one of those creatures everyone remembers, because it's going to be extremely useful and scary. But ARK creates those classic moments where everything suddenly can go horribly wrong. Now, while the Paleo Octopus is here to ruin your day, there is going to be another creature arriving with Tides of Fortune that might become one of the most beloved companions in the game. Even Dolly just mentioned recently, one of the devs at Studio Wildcard, that this could potentially be one of the cutest creatures they've ever released in the game. So, the Tide Pup. This thing sounds incredibly different from anything we've properly seen before. Most creatures in ARK are predators, most creatures want to eat you, and most creatures exist somewhere between annoying and terrifying. But the Tide Pup is going to be completely different. According to Wildcard, its natural instinct is to actually help. This wandering amphibian is also known for assisting injured creatures and helping those in need. Which might sound strange in the brutal world of ARK, but honestly it's kind of refreshing. Not everything has to try to destroy us, and for survivors willing to prove their compassionate side, the Tide Pup may become one of the most loyal companions in the game. What makes it even more interesting is that it appears to evolve based on your journey, your choices, your experiences, your adventures, meaning every Tide Pup could be different for every player and potentially develop differently. And it's a really cool idea, and this is kind of, for me, that what they're testing a little bit earlier in preparation for Dragontopia, which is the DLC coming in December, where the dragon taming is going to be completely different and based on trust and love and respect. The more I hear about this creature, the more I think it could become a fan favourite. So, let's dive into Genesis, the map itself. So newer players may not understand just how important this expansion was. When Genesis originally launched in Survival Evolved, it completely changed the way ARK was. Instead of one giant map, players were dropped into a simulation made up of multiple unique biomes. We had the bog, the Arctic, the volcano, the lunar biome, and of course the ocean biome. Each biome felt completely different. Each biome had its own challenges. Each had its own creatures, own environmental dangers, and its own identity. And that's one of the reasons Genesis became such a memorable expansion. It was very loved, but also there was a lot of people out there that didn't like the change. It wasn't trying to be another Island or Ragnarok. It was trying to do something completely different. Now Wildcard is taking that foundation and rebuilding it inside Unreal Engine 5.5, adding new systems, new creatures, new technology, all the new types of gameplay, and potentially creating the most ambitious version of Genesis we've ever seen. Now the only question left is whether everything comes together smoothly on launch day, because if it does, June 25th could end up becoming one of the biggest moments for ARK Survival Ascended so far. But if it doesn't, well, let's just say ARK players have learned over the years to always expect the unexpected. But either way, we're getting very close now. Genesis Ascended Part 1. I'm super excited, and I hope to see all of you guys on day 1 over in the LoadedCrysis cluster. We're going to have such a fun time. Launch day is always so much fun. Wherever you're playing, though, it will be a really exciting time. I do recommend people to be careful on a launch day, because sometimes it gets a little bit choppy when it comes to transfers over to new maps and stuff. We do open up day 1 transfers over in the cluster as well, so we don't wait the 30 days or anything like that. We get it open straight away. So yes, I look forward to it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.